Here's an interesting fact. The Ginsu shark could reach speeds of up to 43 miles per hour. Imagine coming face to face with a predator like that in the ancient ocean. Welcome to Hell's Aquarium, the most dangerous sea in history, where massive sharks, giant marine reptiles, and terrifying creatures rule the waters. Today, we're diving deep into the deadliest prehistoric creatures that once roamed these ancient seas. But first, why was it called the Hell's Aquarium? Hell's Aquarium got its name because it was home to some of the deadliest creatures that ever roamed the earth. This ancient ocean, officially known as the Western Interior Seaway, existed during the late Cretaceous period almost 100 to 66 million years ago. It stretched across what is now North America, dividing the continent into two. The waters were filled with enormous predators, each more terrifying than the last. Mosasaurs. Among the most famous were the Mosasaurs, giant marine lizards with bodies built for high-speed swimming. Instead of legs, they sported powerful flippers, and some species could swim by wiggling their bodies like eels, while others used large tail fins to cut through the water like sharks. Mosasaurs ruled as the top predators of their time. They had massive, sharp teeth perfect for tearing into flesh. The seaway was filled with more than 10 different mosasaur species, ranging from about 6.5 to 59 feet in length. 3 mosasaurs that you definitely wouldn't want to bump into were the Cladastes, Platycarpus, and Tylosaurus. Cladastes, the smallest, could reach up to 20 feet and was incredibly fast, hunting fish and other small creatures in shallow waters. It was even known to venture into freshwater. Platycarpus was a bit larger, at 24 feet long and weighing about a ton. It probably focused on smaller fish and squid in deeper waters, as its teeth were quite delicate. But the real terror of the deep was Tylosaurus, which could grow between 39 and 52 feet long, rivaling the size of a humpback whale. With thick, serrated teeth, it was equipped to rip through just about any prey, including other marine reptiles, turtles, birds, fish, sharks, and even other mosasaurs. Deinosuchus. While mosasaurs were definitely the dangerous predators of Hell's Aquarium, the crown for the deadliest bite doesn't go to them. Instead, it belongs to Deinosuchus. Imagine a creature that looks a bit like a huge crocodile found along the edges of the ancient Western Interior Seaway. On the eastern side, these creatures were smaller and pretty common. But on the western side, they were enormous, growing up to 39 feet long. And even though they were not as long as the biggest mosasaurs, Deinosuchus weighed around 8.5 tons. Now, Deinosuchus had a back covered in thick, round armor plates called osteoderms. These weren't just for show. They provided serious protection and even helped it lumber around on land. When scientists first stumbled upon these bony plates, they actually thought they belonged to some other dinosaur species. But the Deinosuchus had a bite that could send shivers down your spine. Its skull was huge and broad, kind of like today's alligators, which gave it an incredibly powerful chomp. Its jaws were so strong that it could outbite a T-Rex, with a force estimated at over 100,000 newtons. Just like today's alligators, Deinosuchus wasn't picky about its meals. It probably ate anything it could snag, but the fossils tell us this beast had a taste for marine turtles, big fish, and even unlucky dinosaurs that got too close to the water. Plesiosaurs. While Deinosuchus had a fearsome reputation for its powerful bite, another group of creatures in Hell's Aquarium took a different approach to survival. Plesiosaurs had broad, flat bodies and surprisingly short tails, and their necks unbelievably long, giving them the longest neck-to-body ratio of any reptile. Plesiosaurs had a unique way of getting around. They flapped their flippers as if they were flying through the water, which must have been quite a sight in the shallower parts of the Western Interior Seaway, where they preferred to hang out. This area was bustling with all sorts of plesiosaurs, mostly the true plesiosaurs, along with a few other beefier pliosaurids. These creatures could get pretty big, with some reaching over 15 feet long. The real giants, like Elasmosaurus and Albertonectes, could stretch up to 38 feet. Elasmosaurus, in particular, was famous for having the most vertebrae of any known animal. Despite their large size, plesiosaurs weren't the top predators. Their narrow mouths and long necks were perfect for a different hunting style. They were sneak attackers, using those long necks to surprise small fish, hiding their bodies until the last second. Their teeth were angled in such a way that once they closed their mouths, escaping was nearly impossible for their prey. Apart from fish, their diet likely included small sea creatures like snails and clams. Fearsome sharks. As we go deeper into the ancient waters of the Hell's Aquarium, we meet some seriously scary sharks that roamed the seas at the time. One of them was Cratosarina, also known as the Ginsu shark. Picture a shark as big as a school bus, about 26 feet long and weighing over 5 tons. It looked a lot like today's great white shark and had a similar lifestyle, despite not being closely related. This shark was super fast, with a special type of tail fin that helped it zoom through the water, possibly reaching speeds of up to 43 miles per hour. Its jaws were lined with rows of razor-sharp teeth, bigger and tougher than those of a great white. Then there was the Squalocorax, or the crow shark. This shark was smaller than the Ginsu shark, usually measuring 6 to 16 feet long. But don't let its size fool you. It was extremely dangerous. Its teeth were small, curved, and serrated, perfect for slicing through tough tissue. It hunted pterosaurs, the flying reptiles of the time. Another fascinating shark from this era was Tylosaurus, dubbed the shell-crushing shark. About the size of a whale shark, Tylosaurus had a very different diet. Instead of filtering plankton, this shark used its flat, plate-like teeth to crush shelled animals like crustaceans and turtles. Its teeth were numerous, sometimes numbering over 500, and could grow longer than a ruler. Let's not forget about Archelon, the biggest turtle of all time and thankfully an herbivore. This terrific turtle grew over 4 meters long, and like today's leatherback turtle, feasted on jellyfish and cephalopods like octopuses and squid. But there were much deadlier animals in these dangerous seas. Among them was Halosaurus, a 4-meter-long mosasaur that hunted fish and squid and occasionally scavenged corpses. It looked a bit like a Komodo dragon with a croc's head and flippers. Then there's the Tylosaurus, one of the largest mosasaurs, growing up to 15 meters long. This gigantic creature resembled a cross between a crocodile and a killer whale, but twice as dangerous. It had a huge pair of toothy jaws and a body powered by powerful flippers. Tylosaurus ate practically every animal mentioned above, including hadrosaurs and pterosaurs. But its teeth weren't its primary weapon. Paleontologists tell us that Tylosaurus had a very tough nose that it used in a sneaky way. They think it hid in the dark, deep water and would suddenly shoot up to smash its prey from below, causing huge damage. Another terrifying creature was the Xiphactinus, also called the X-fish. This fish was part of a group called ichthyosaurs, which included some of the ugliest and meanest fish that ever lived. The X-fish, with its wide, slanted jaw that could bend a lot, could swallow pretty much anything that fits in its mouth. It was so big, up to 20 feet long, that it could eat very large prey. There's even a famous fossil that shows a 6.2-foot-long fish inside the stomach of an X-fish, and there are many other fossils like this. The X-fish didn't just swallow things whole. It also had sharp, thin teeth that could slice through tough flesh. This made it great at eating large animals or cutting up living ones into smaller pieces. If you could travel back in time and swim in Hell's Aquarium, you definitely want to stay away from the X-fish. Other sea monsters. But the ocean's ancient tales don't end there. We still have a few other sea monsters wanting to be explored. Take the Helicoprion, for instance. Often referred to as the buzzsaw shark. Picture this, a shark-like fish whose jaw rolled into a tight spiral, lined with teeth that resembled the edge of a buzzsaw. These extraordinary creatures lived from the Devonian period, around 419 million years ago, up to the Triassic period. They could grow to a length of 25 feet, making them 5 feet longer than the largest modern great white sharks. Then there were the Placodonts, curious marine reptiles resembling turtles, which inhabited the Triassic seas of what is now Europe, the Middle East, and China. Placodonts stood out with their incredibly large front teeth, so prominent that it was said they could pick apples through a picket fence. These teeth were perfect for plucking shells and mollusks off reefs or the ocean floor. And for the tough shells, Placodonts had flat, crushing plates at the back of their mouths, ideal for munching on their hard-shelled snacks. The ocean depths were also home to sea scorpions, or Europterids, which were a bit like the scorpions we see today, but much, much bigger. Imagine coming face to face with a sea scorpion that was larger than a human. That's right, fossils found in New York suggest some of these creatures could grow over 8 feet long. They roamed the seas for over 200 million years, dominating their environment until they went extinct at the end of the Permian period, around 251.9 million years ago. Now, if you can picture a reptilian version of a dolphin, you've got a pretty good idea of what an ichthyosaur looked like. These marine reptiles had streamlined, fish-like bodies, but with a more menacing appearance. Ichthyosaurs popped up around 250 million years ago and stuck around until about 90 million years ago. While some were as small as just a foot long, others were true giants, especially during the late Triassic period. In fact, a fossilized jawbone found in the UK in 2018 was from an ichthyosaur estimated to be more than 85 feet long. That's almost as big as a blue whale. Then we have the Megalodon. It was basically a giant, supersized version of today's sharks. This massive predator ruled the oceans from about 23 to 2.6 million years ago. Fossils of its teeth show just how huge it was. Megalodon was at least 3 times the size of a modern great white shark, making it the largest shark ever known. Scientists still debate how big it really was, but estimates suggest it could have been anywhere from 60 feet to even 80 feet long. To give you an idea, that's about as big as a modern-day orca, or possibly even bigger. And Megalodon wasn't just big, it was powerful. It could have eaten an orca in just a few bites with its massive jaws and huge teeth, some of which were over 7 inches long. This giant shark's size and strength made it one of the most fearsome predators ever to roam the oceans. And finally, let's not forget the ferocious penis worms of the Cambrian periods. Despite their funny name, these marine worms were tough predators around 500 million years ago. Their mouths were lined with sharp teeth, perfect for grabbing prey all across the ocean. But they weren't just hunters. They also had to protect themselves from becoming prey in the competitive Cambrian seas. To do that, penis worms suited up by living in cone-shaped shells, kind of like how hermit crabs do today. A study from 2021 found fossils of these shell-dwelling worms showing they adapted for survival in some pretty harsh winters. These creatures belong to a group called Priapulids, which also includes some of their shell-less relatives that still exist today. The name Priapulid comes from Priapus, the Greek god known for his physical features. And there you have it, the terrifying creatures that once roamed the depths of Hell's Aquarium. It's a good thing they're long gone, or our oceans just wouldn't be the same with these beasts lurking beneath the surface. If you enjoyed learning about these prehistoric creatures, don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode of our deep dives into the ancient world. Thanks for watching.